let me reveal to you the #1 way to do self-development work.
You can attach meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It is not an absolute.
I would argue that if you're not doing this, if you're not doing self-reflection, you're missing out on 90 to 95% of all self-development related work. Actually, if you're not doing this, I don't think you take your self-development seriously at all. And I would even say that you're not even doing any self-development at all. Because the essence of self-development is to grow oneself, right? And how can you grow yourself without assessing how you are progressing on the path? Self-reflection should be an everyday, constant, ongoing practice. You know, most people, they go about their days, they don't really think about what they're doing. They're just kind of going on autopilot, following what they've always been doing, keeping their homeostasis going of what is comfortable to them. So whatever they've been doing for years, they keep doing it because it always worked, or it always kind of worked. So they don't take the time to reassess and reflect on what they did right, what they did wrong, or whatever the fuck they did. They just stun their growth. They don't allow themselves to grow beyond their initial capabilities. They don't up their baseline to a higher level of consciousness, of competence, of skill set. You know, the greatest men in history, the greatest people in history, they all did that. Philosophers, geniuses, inventors, war leaders, crisis leaders, revolutionaries, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla. They all spent time, they took time out of their lives to literally just sit and think. Taking time out of your life to just sit and think. This state of pensivity, this state of relaxation allows you to tap into this unknown creativity of yours, to tap into your subconscious mind, because it's only when you slow down that you can finally get back in touch with who you actually are, with your own creativity, with your own creative process and your own mental processes. But if you're always busy running towards something, you'll never find the time to get at a root cause. I'll even add to this that if you're watching my videos and you're not self-reflecting, well, you're not doing self-development at all, and you're wasting all your time watching those videos, right? For example, after you watch this video, you should ask yourself, when am I introspecting in my life? When am I thinking things through? When am I self-assessing? When am I actually applying what I'm learning, right? Because if you're just, for example, watching my videos, it's like a nice 20-minute ride, nice entertainment, a little mental masturbation, so you feel a bit better about your situation. For example, my video on loneliness, where I'm telling you, oh dude, you have to embrace being alone. And you watch this video and you're like, oh yeah, that's all I had to do. Oh, awesome, all right. Now let me get back to my video games. No, no, that wasn't the point. The point was to self-introspect after the video. Oh, it feels good to watch this. Okay, yeah, it feels great, but all right, now what? What are you gonna do about it? A nice ride, right? But if you wanted just a nice, if all you wanted was a nice ride, then why don't you just go to the movies, whatever, right? And the reason why most people won't do this is because of various reasons. #1 is because people have just forgotten what it's like to actually be with yourself, to self-introspect, and just to be with your own thoughts and your own emotions, because we always have distractions. We always have 9gag, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, television, YouTube now. Now you have YouTube. Hopefully with those videos I can bring more awareness, more consciousness to this process that we're all avoiding. That's one of the main reasons, is distractions. Another reason is because facing yourself is scary. It's scary to get back in touch with your inner demons, your mental processes that you've always tried to run away from. It's scary to realize that perhaps you don't know yourself. Think about it. It's scary to realize that perhaps you don't even know who the fuck you are. You don't even know your mental processes because you've never took the time to sit down and watch your own thoughts. Or maybe you're so identified with them that you can't even distantiate yourself and think rationally about those thoughts, because maybe you've never done this. Maybe you've always ran on autopilot. It's like, oh, you know, I'm going to my job, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, going back home, I'm studying for my last exam, I'm going back to sleep. Next day I go to work, and all the same shit over and over again, right? And on top of that, you're not sure of what you'll find down there, right? That's why you don't want to get down there. You don't know what the shadows are, what lies behind the shadows. And this is the one thing that you have to face to grow yourself. So why should you introspect? The truth is pretty self-evident here. If you've been doing self-development for a while, you should know. But for those that, you know, maybe you're new to this and you're watching this, you're like, well, I just go about my life the way I want to go about it. Why does it matter? You know, through self-introspection, you learn more about yourself. You're more in touch with your own self-development. Because the more in touch you are with your thoughts and your emotions, the more distance you have from them, the better pseudo-control you have over yourself. You're acquiring skills, you're mastering yourself, right? By doing that repeatedly, then the outside world will be a lot easier to master, to understand. If you understand yourself, you can understand the external world better as it manifests internally at first to then manifest externally. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, if you're thinking positively and you're introspecting about yourself on how can I become more positive? How can I become more happy? Then externally you will manifest this happiness. You will attract people that are also happy. You will attract positive events. You will attract great things in your life. So through this power of introspection, you can become self-taught. You can learn to learn. Learn to learn by yourself. Because most people, they don't learn how to learn. They just learn about things, learn about this, learn about that. I go to school, oh, history, who landed on America, oh yeah, Columbus, yeah, whatever, right? We learn, but we don't learn to learn. You could say that self-introspection is the kind of meta-awareness type of learning. You're going up a level. You're thinking beyond thinking, right? You're still just thinking, right? You're also staying at the level of thought, but you're understanding thought better. And we all have to do this if we want to be successful in life. As Lao Tzu put it, knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself, that's true wisdom. So, how do you actually do self-introspection? Pragmatically, how do you actually do it? Simple step-by-step guide. Number one, find a quiet space that you're very comfortable in. Your house is probably the best place to do that. Your own room, where you don't have any interruptions. Set a timer for 20 to 30 minutes if that's the first time you're doing it. Because most of us, we're not used to sitting down and doing that, especially when you always have distractions. Most of us, we never even have 1 minute by ourselves with no distractions. Right now, if you're like most people, when you're taking a shit, you're probably washing your phone while you're taking a shit. For those 20 to 30 minutes, you will be allowed nothing at all. No music, no cell phone, no great food to distract yourself with, no candies, no alcohol, no friends, no company, no visual distractions, no television, no beautiful paintings, no nothing, just you. Just you. Then you can take your journal and note things down. But for now, don't note anything now down just for the beginning. Just for the beginning, just to get a glimpse of what it's like to self-introspect without anything. Just being in touch with yourself. Step number 2, open yourself up. Open yourself up mentally, psychologically, emotionally. Allow anything to go. Don't limit yourself at all. Anything can go. Meaning there's no positives, there's no negatives, there's no good or bad. Be as amoral as you can. Don't be immoral, don't be moral, just be amoral. Means immoral, meaning with an A, meaning no sense of morality in this. If you have thoughts about killing people, have those thoughts. If you have thoughts about hurting others, let those thoughts be. If you have thoughts about ending your life, that's very dark, but have those thoughts. If you resist all those thoughts, they will come back at you. So just watch them, don't judge them, and look for those thoughts just for what they are. Good, bad, doesn't matter. No judgment. The moment you judge those thoughts is the moment that you stop your mental process, you stop the awareness process. You're pushing things aside. So how can you be aware of what you cannot see? How can you be aware of what you do not accept? How can you be aware of what you're pushing aside? There's nothing to be aware of because you're trying to discard it. By trying to discard it, by trying to push it away, by judging it, the awareness process is going to suffer. Be aware of everything that goes. Number 3, a very important part, ask big questions. Big questions. When you're in that state of receptivity, perhaps you sit down on a chair or lie down in a couch, whatever, and you allow all emotions to surface, all thoughts to surface about why I'm doing this, that's so useless, whatever, have those thoughts. But then when you're open to introspection, ask those big questions. Here are a few examples for you to get started. What is the purpose of my life? Why do I exist? Why do I wake up every day? What could make my life better right now? How can I find love in my life? What is the essence of creativity? What is the point of life? How do I overcome loneliness and solitude? What is a good relationship? How much do I love myself? What do I really enjoy out of life? How can I make an imprint on this world? How can I be more in touch with myself and nature? When do I go to bed at night? How do I feel? And how can I feel better every time I go to bed at night? So those are just a few examples, but there's many more. If those big questions don't spark anything in you, or if those big questions don't really, get to you, that's fine. Maybe you're not that much of an existential person. Maybe you don't think as deep. Yeah, I completely respect that. But I think to help you think deeper, what you can also do, start with very specific things. Ask the why behind the why, behind the why, and behind the why. So, for example, maybe right now you really like this particular girl and you're asking yourself, well, how can I get this girl? And then from there, you can ask yourself, well, why do I want to get this girl? Why this girl and not that other girl? And you ask yourself, oh, well, because she's very special. Well, why is she very special to you? Oh, well, she's got all those amazing qualities, whatever, she's amazing, amazing girl, really funny. And then you're like, okay, yeah, well, okay, she's really funny. That's very good. But wait, why do I want her? Why would I be unhappy with another girl? And then you ask yourself, oh, well, it would be different, like we have a greater connection together. She's got more things in common with me. And then you ask yourself, well, why do I want a girl that I really connect with versus a girl that I don't connect with? Oh, well, because it's this feeling of love, like I can feel it with her. I can feel a great feeling, I feel connectedness with the world. Well, why do you need this? Why do you need this? And you're like, oh, well, I don't know, because I just don't like being alone. I don't know, I just don't want to, when I'm by myself, it's just kind of boring. Well, why are you bored when you're by yourself? Why don't you want to be alone? Well, I guess I'm afraid I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. Why don't you want to be alone? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. No. Why don't you want to be alone? Why? Right? And often when you do this question, you'll hit a roadblock. When you ask yourself a very deep question and then your mind will eventually just go, well, I don't know. Blank, I don't know. No, stay with that question. Stay with it. That's just mental laziness right here. At least stay with that question, at least a minute. And something will come up. And whatever comes up, don't forget the initial step of not judging, right? And as you self-introspect, you will get deeper to a deeper question. Welcome it. Step number 4, write it down. Whatever you came up with, whatever that answer to that question, even if it's very vague, or for example, you ask yourself the question, how can I be more happy? And then all you came up with was, spend more time outside, outdoors, nature. Okay, well, write that down. Hang out with friends. Good, write that down. Oh, maybe I need to make more friends. Write that down. Whatever it is, write it down. Self-introspect. Everything goes, anything is fine. And the last step, step number 5, is do some research on it. Google is your best friend with this. Whatever question you have that you want to ask yourself. For example, how to get this girl? Well, Google it. You'll find answers. How to get a girl, whatever. Now, after introspection, what is the conclusion with this? Well, maybe you've done it in the past. You did it, but it just didn't spark anything in you, or you didn't feel anything special, or you were just kind of like nonchalant, not caring about it, like, oh, well, yeah, oh, how to be happy? Well, watch TV, all right? Nothing really sparks anything in you. If this happens, you're either not asking the right question, or you're judging yourself too much. You're limiting yourself too much. You're stopping yourself too much, right? So for example, you ask yourself, what would I want to do if I had all the time in the world and all the money in the world? You tell yourself, oh, well, I'd like to make my own feature film, but that's never gonna happen, I'm not good enough. If you're limiting yourself, drop it. No, what would I actually do if I had all the time and the money in the world? Ask it again. Ask it again. Don't limit yourself. Because as soon as you limit yourself, you're gonna stun your growth. You're not actually growing yourself to the highest of your capabilities. When you hit a roadblock, ask it again and again and again. Come from it from another angle, right? Oh, what would I do to be happy? Oh, I don't know. No, what would you actually do to be happy? I guess do something I like more. All right, so how can I do something that I like more every day? What if I could do it? Even if it were impossible, what would I do? Oh, well, I would travel the entire world and live on passive income. Right? Maybe that's it. And then you tell yourself, oh, no, I can't do it. No. Don't limit yourself. So, conclusion, self-introspection is different for everyone, right? Everyone does it a different way. What I'd suggest if you're starting out, just do it by yourself. Do it with no music at first, the first few times, and then eventually it's just naturally, by developing this practice, you'll just naturally do it. You won't even need to set time for it. It's just like naturally, you'll like wake up, you have this brilliant idea or whatever, you have this crazy question in your head, and you'll naturally sit down with a pen and paper, and then you, for an hour, just sit down and trying to write things down. That's what I do personally. Naturally, you will just gravitate to your own style of doing things. You know, you can even add some music later on, add some nostalgic music, some dark music, some inspiring music, some epic music, whatever it is you like. And maybe that'll help you flesh things out, right? Leave your comments down below because I read every single comment. I reply to every single comment. And the best suggestion, I'll probably make a video about it. So yeah, guys, like, let me know what the fuck you guys want. And click on the fucking bell. Click on the bell. Click on the bell now. Click on the bell now. All right, bye. Peace. And yeah. Fuck. I'm so tired. Oh, I slept like oh wait.